Darkness guides us. Festival was last weekend in Glasgow, Scotland. So there you buggers, if you went there, you were on for a treat. I just came from Glasgow a few days ago. That is on Monday, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt. Well, no lousy at all. Beautiful T-shirt, which I got as a gift from the promoter here, and I'm gonna use this T-shirt as an excuse to talk about you and show this for because this is a lineup what we had there. I didn't make exactly a preview video about it. I mentioned it a couple of times, and I promised to make kind of a recap video of that particular festival. But let's start with the souvenirs. Not only with the T-shirt and a patch, which I already gave to my cameraman, got this interesting bottle of Greek booze. I must once again mention thank you to the promoter who took great care of us, providing us with hotel at nice juries in nearby the venue. Had us some gifts, and of course took great care of us in the terms of providing us with not only the actual event but also the pre-event of the whole weekend. So this started on Friday with the Preshow, which featured a handful of smaller names in a venue called Stereo, I think, and it was a kind of a nice underground place with bands that are not yet very known. I must say I wasn't familiar with none of all that stuff, which was then again more surprised to see that there were actually nice bands that are about to get bigger, I hope anyway. The only downside of this downstairs kind of a cellar like of a small event was that because of little delays with the actual lineup, bands going on stage and all that stuff, the last band had to call it quits before the actual show was over, because the venue seemed to just shut out the lights and all that stuff, which made audience and the band go like their middle fingers up in the air, which I really cannot blame them for. Other than this actual nuisance, it was pretty nice venue. There were a lot of people seeing the shows. Some people actually recognized me, which was a big surprise, because I was thinking myself, when I go to Scotland, at least nobody will recognize me. But there I was shaking hands with you guys. Thank you for that. It was nice to meet some of you and have a few drinks with you. And it was a nice pre-opening show for the whole actual festival. And the actual festival took place, obviously, on Saturday and Sunday with headliners such as Imbel Nazarene from Finland and Ancient from Norway. And curiously enough, instantly I spotted a difference between Finnish events and this particular event. Because in Finland we start usually quite late in the evening with the actual shows, that is around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that. Maybe doors opening at 5. And the last band pretty much ends the night around 2 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that. Whereas this was quite different. Earliest bands were around on 2 p.m. on stage, and the show was pretty much over by midnight. Well, there was a first day with delays, which got worse by the evening. That is, around the first bands, they were like 20 minutes late, and towards the end, it was more than 1 hour, something like 90 minutes already delayed. And some people were a little bit annoyed by this, but at least none of the shows got cancelled, and even Imbel Nazarene managed to play, I think, the whole set, even though they were the last one. So instead of finishing around midnight, they finished around, 1 o'clock in the night. But then again, at least we Finns are pretty much used to that. Now, I must say, unfortunately, I didn't watch any of those bands fully. Some bands I maybe watched a couple of tracks, some a little more, and some I didn't see at all. And now you must be like, why, Jerry, would you even go to a festival if you don't plan to see those shows in full, or at least most of them? Now, the thing is, for me, it's always quite a bit about meeting friends, but it's even more, sometimes at least, doing those interviews. And when things overlap, well, that's my excuse pretty much. But anyway, I enjoyed what I saw on both days because, I mean, there were lots of interesting bands, even more lots of interesting people, and I think we nailed pretty much doing those interviews. We only missed Sargeist of those promised ones, but then again, given it's a Finnish band, I think we have a fair chance to do it here in Finland someday, someplace. Now, all in all, I think the fest was a nice success. First of all, from the promoter point of view, it was sold out before the actual dates. So I think it's a really good sign that people were actually liking the show, liked the lineup, and were just all around happy about how things went, how things were organized, and all that stuff. At least I didn't hear any negativity, and when I was asked to give her a little bit of feedback after the first day, I was kind of happy to say that the delay thing was pretty much the only problem. Now, there were some minor sound problems, like some distorted sound coming from the mics every now and then. And for example, Zemial show had a little bit of wireless microphone problems because at some points the vocals just disappeared. Maybe just for a second or two, but nevertheless. Now, it wasn't that big of a deal for me because the atmosphere right there and the music sounded overall pretty good. I think the overall sound was quite good. But of course, as so many times in different venues, it depends where are you standing, where are you listening and seeing the show. Because when I was watching the band a little bit further, some point with my friend, I think it sounded more, I wouldn't say shitty, but it sounded worse than when I was like in the middle of the venue on the background, because that's my favorite spot usually. I get to see the whole stuff there, nobody's bothering me behind my back, or at least many people, and usually it's around the line where the mixing booth is, so you kind of get the more, say, stereo image of the whole show. Now, second day, there were no that kind of delays. I think pretty much every band was more or less in time, or at least I didn't see big problem with the delays, if any. And, well, the sound thing was pretty much the same, obviously. And I must say, I really enjoyed my time. I mean, even if I didn't see those bands as much as I could have been there, I must say it's like 5-star trip. Now, you might be asking once again, why? Because you didn't see so many bands you were supposed to. Well, the thing is, for me, it was partially just a vacation in Glasgow anyway. I mean, we get to see the necropolis graveyard, which was beautiful. The overall feeling in Glasgow was just awesome, and people was goddamn friendly. I'm probably repeated the word friendly a million times during that trip, but it seems like wherever I went, whoever I talked to, people were just great. I mean, just, friendly, nice, and really easy to talk to. And by the way, people were not that drunk. I mean, in Finland, we're kind of used to people pass out by the time before the last band is even on stage, or get into a fight, or are just so drunk that they can barely talk. For me, it was easy to just, mingle around, get to know new people, handshake a lot of good people there, and just, enjoy my time in general. So I wasn't even that much, sad about missing some of the bands, because I got to really meet nice people, make new friends, and just have a good time in general. Now, after party clubs were pretty nice too, considering that only one of them actually had any kind of metal music played, but there was a good guy doing DJ job and nice tunes were played. More mingling and drinks in good company happened. So for me, it was like nailing the evening. And as it happened, it was a birthday of the promoter, so I think there was kind of a extra plus in the terms of him being finally relieved from the stress of organizing the whole event. Now, when it comes to the interviews we did, like I said, we missed only Sargeist, but luckily we got to do some Greek maniacs, including Varathron, Zemial, Kavir, and then we got also Harakiri for the Sky, and who else am I missing now? Yeah, Sargeist was planned, and now my brain is malfunctioning. But anyway, we got like 5 interviews in total, and I think, not to disrespect to anybody, because we had a little bit sound problems with mic every now and then, but I think with Zemial interview in particular, we pretty much nailed it. First of all, we got Svoskath of Zemial, the main guy, the only original member, and Proscriptor of Absu and other bands as the vocalist. They were so well spoken and had really nice in-depth talks. So in my opinion, it was really nice to get all these bands for some deep talk. So we have nice interviews, in my opinion, coming soon, and I hope that you will enjoy them. And given that we're still a little bit late with, still not late, but I mean there's still a few Steel Chaos interviews coming up. Plus, I got to interview Mayhem just a couple of days ago. So we have pretty much stuff coming your way all through November, December, and January at least. So maybe even some February. So you will be having these interviews, like one interview per week. So I hope you enjoy that. And what it's worth, in my opinion, Darkness Guides Us was a really nice fest, and I'm looking forward to go there next year as well. What I've been told, I don't know if this is classified, but I will take the risk anyway. It's supposed to be taking place, but in a different, bigger venue next year. So I totally recommend you to mark that up on your calendar. Maybe book flights and hotels whenever the dates are actually released and when there's more information about lineup. At least this year's lineup was nice. Lots of nice bands, and in general, like I said, totally great feeling. Good beer, good food, good friends, just overall good. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop right here when I'm in a good mood and it's just pouring all the memories in my mind. Glasgow, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna be back, and all you Rauta followers, subscribers, and random viewers, take care and enjoy your weekend, and maybe see you in Glasgow in 1 year from now on. Take care and enjoy your weekend.